Motorcycle accessories. What rider doesn't love tricking out their bike with the hottest new gizmos and gadgets? You can install accessories to improve the comfort level of your bike, offer some new functionality, or just make it a little bit more your own. And lucky for all motorcyclists out there, thanks to websites like Temu or Wish.com, there have never been a better time to find strange and bizarre accessories with which to adorn your noble steed. So without further ado, let's talk about the top 10 weirdest motorcycle accessories. Today's video is sponsored by Rockform, whose phone cases and handlebar mounts could be considered the opposite of the accessories on the list today, but we'll get more about that later. Well, unless you've been living under a rock since 2003, you likely know that LED underglow for your motorcycle is not cool. We've talked before at length about the inherent corniness of such a novelty, not to mention the illegality in many parts of the world, so today I will spare traditional LED underglow my scorn because the Chinese intellectual property pirates have blessed us with something even better, an LED underbody angel wing protection kit. Here's how this accessory is described by the inventors themselves, and I quote, "When you ride a motorcycle, the protection lights of the angel wings on the road cool, eye-catching, but not dazzling." So yeah, essentially these lights project off the sides and back of your motorcycle to make it appear as if your bike has luminescent wings. Like the bat signal in the sky alerts Batman that Gotham is in need of his heroism, these LED angel wings alert the real bikers who have passed away because they had to layer down that the group is low on bush light. These lights are absolutely ridiculous and attract such a specific niche in the motorcycle community, motorcycling theists who have no sense of shame. You can probably find them lighting up the stage at the charity talent show put on by one of those Harley-Davidson biker churches. If you need a little guardian angels for your bike, this light can be yours on Amazon for just 30 Bezo bucks. Moving on. Every motorcycle rider could use a nice set of rain gear. Waterproof clothing can come absolutely clutch when you need to keep dry and comfortable should you get caught in some less than ideal weather conditions. Similarly, if you park your hog in the elements, it could also benefit from a weatherproof cover to keep it dry and protected. But what if there was a way that you could combine the two in order to create the most ultimate waterproof kit imaginable? Well, the genius is at Haozaikeji. Nice, first try, have done the unthinkable when they created the Universal Motorcycle Raincoat Waterproof Reusable Bike E-Bike Raincoat Outdoor Rain Poncho with detachable brim. So what we have here is essentially a raincoat and a motorcycle cover built into one mega unit. So not only do you stay dry, so too does your bike. Do you risk this poncho being sucked into your wheel and pulling you off the bike and causing irreversible damage to your body? Sure. Even if you don't suffer bodily injury, you will still look like a total buffoon? Absolutely. But haven't you ever been riding on your motorcycle in the rain, comfortable and dry beneath waterproof sheathing, and thought to yourself, I wish in this moment my motorcycle had the same privilege and weather protection as I do? Of course you have. We've all been there. Any experienced motorcyclist knows that if your motorcycle gets rain on, it will explode. Jokes aside, maybe in China where everyone rides dong-dongs and 250s, these bikes will literally die if they get any bit of wiring exposed to weather. The rat's nest electrical and engine gaskets made of silly putty will just dissolve when exposed to Chinese acidic rain. There's a lot of cheap junk on the internet. I mean, if you're in the market for a pink horse mane for your helmet or a Valentino Rossi Funko Pop figurine, maybe peruse the internet's nether regions for a Chinese knockoff. But for most motorcycle accessories, you ought to leave it to the professionals. When it comes to phone cases and handlebar mounts, turn to Rockform. Rockform is the industry leader for motorcycle tech accessories, and they're the only brand I trust when I ride or choose to yeet my phone into a brick wall for durability testing reasons. Rockform cases have an ultra-strong MagSafe magnet, offer 360 degrees of protection, and are drop tested to military standards. They have cases for every make and model mounting system for every style of bike. And once seamlessly mounted, your phone is safe and secure, encased in premium materials designed specifically for motorcycling. When it comes to your phone, don't waste your time with a cheap knockoff. Get yourself a Rockform phone case and mount and enjoy convenience and quality. Go to rockform.com and use the code YN25 to get 25% off of your order. That's rockform.com with code YN25 for 25% off. Thanks so much to Rockform for the continued support. Now let's get back to the show. The next accessory comes from the wild and wonderful world of Temu. It's easy to poke fun at ADV dads and anyone else decked out head to toe in high-vis reflective gear as if they're cosplaying as a construction worker at the male stripper workshop at the YMCA, but reflective vests pale in comparison to the dorkiness happiness evoked by this electronic turn signal vest. While I think it's designed for road cycling, it came up when searching for motorcycle accessories, and I could definitely see some dweeb rocking this on a CBR 300 at the behest of his mom, under threat of revoking his allowance, and also from our motorcycle's scorn. I wonder what all the AtGat evangelists on Reddit and Instagram have to say about this vest. They'd probably have some egregiously false anecdote about a family member who lost both legs and both arms in a motorcycle accident because a car didn't see their turn signal. Whereas if they had been wearing a turn signal vest, they would still be here today to watch their grandchild take their first steps. Or some other made-up crap just to get validation from strangers on the internet with usernames like JixerKitty69. So yeah, this vest has a variety of signals that are triggered by a remote that is attached to the handlebar. You can signal for turns, to indicate hazards, or to alert other riders you're in search for male companionship. Moving on. Next up on our list is this motorcycle handlebar watch. Now, I'd be lying if I said there was never at one time in my riding career where I was riding on a motorcycle with a simple or retro dash with any sort of clock and wondered what time it was. I think many people have thought that. But then I either look at a watch on my own wrist or drive by a bank or make an educated guess based on the location of the sun in the sky. Never has my desire to know the time pushed me to the point of wanting to install a Timex on my motorcycle. This is coming from a watch guide. This is so cursed. This watch claims to be waterproof and shock resistant, and I could wax poetic about it all day long, but I think it's best I leave it up to the artists themselves. I quote, "The lovely design and color with comfortable texture will ensure its practicability? That's not a word. Vehicle uses. Practicability. They pulled that one out of the thesaurus. And another, this product matches the appearance of the bicycle very well, and there will be no sense of violation after installation. Well, I hate to break it to you, Temu, but I feel violated even before the installation. So I know there's going to be a bunch of boomers in the comments section talking about all the ways they've rigged up DIY cruise control on their motorcycle, and it's always so sketchy. You've got the rubber band wrapped around the throttle tube or that jank screw underneath the throttle that comes on only Harley Davidsons, and this cruise control clamp throttle lock from Temu is not much better. Essentially, you clamp it onto your grip and then use your thumb to adjust its position against the brake lever to prevent the throttle from closing automatically. Simple in design, but pretty damn sketchy. This is like straight boomer spec Harley Davidson accessory crap. Old men will spend 25 grand on a Harley Davidson and then spend $4.48 on cruise control clamp from China. You'll never catch me on no goddamn Chinese bike. CF Moto? You mean China Federation Moto? I don't think so, son. Then they'll put every piece of Chinese garbage on their motorcycle, including handlebar tassels, spiked grips, skull gas caps, you name it. The negative reviews for this cruise control device range from mentioning in that it slips and doesn't maintain throttle position, or that it was missing parts. User Will T was kind enough to share details of his near-death experience caused by the Temu cruise control. He said, "I almost lost my life having that useless piece of junk on my motorcycle. It never stayed tight, and when I went to use my brakes, it got in my way and turned my motorcycle off while I was riding 45 miles per hour. Thank you, Will, for sharing that harrowing tale. Imagining getting killed by a $4.48 part off of Temu. You don't want to go out that way. You really don't." Speaking of boomer spec, we have this wonderful seat cushion. The seats that come stock on a motorcycle aren't always the most comfortable. That's just a fact. But the solution usually involves the acquisition of an aftermarket seat that's usually made with better materials while retaining the shape and style of OEM components. But those seats can cost a pretty penny. Whereas for the low price of $11.48, you can get this cushion which attaches via some straps to your existing seat while offering improved comfort and in no way indicating to the world that you suffer from hemorrhoids. And if that doesn't sell you, listen to the value proposed by the creators. Soft and skin-friendly, superior air permeability, repeated stretching can also be recovered, and it is not easy to pilling or gas rubbing. So if you struggle with easy pilling from gas rubbing and you want a seat cushion that is not just soft, but also skin-friendly, because the seat needs to be skin-friendly for all the time you ride in assless chaps, then this sounds like the accessory for you. We know that in order for an engine to run, you need air, fuel, compression, and spark, and what easier way to check that you're getting spark than to install these cool LED spark plug caps? Sure, I guess that would prove you're getting power to the plug, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the plug itself is bad. Kind of almost makes sense on a mechanical standpoint, but also if you're going to remove the original caps to install these, you might as well just pull the plug and check for spark the old-fashioned way. Plus, adding an extra LED light in a janky spark plug cap is likely to introduce more issues than it would solve. But these are especially cringe because they're being sold as decorative accessories. It's sort of reminiscent of the clear electronics from the 90s. 90s while having a translucent plastic shell and seeing the inner workings of a Game Boy or Nintendo 64 controller was fashionable. So yeah, LED spark plug caps are weird. I don't recommend them. You know I had to do it to them, baby. The train horn. Everybody loves an obnoxiously loud horn. Everybody. It's like a universal truth of humanity. A small vehicle with an alarmingly loud horn is the funniest circumstance that can ever happen. It doesn't get any funnier than that. The only thing that could make a train horn funnier is if it's so loud it literally decimates organic life, breaking down the molecular bonds that create our mortal flesh, the waves of sound pulverizing everything to dust in its wake. Because that's what would happen if you honk this train horn from Wish.com that claims to produce a volume of 100,000 decibels. 100,000. Based on science that I'm unable to articulate, the loudest sound that can even be produced in Earth's atmosphere is 194 decibels. So, a 100,000 decibel train horn stands as a weapon of mass destruction to be feared by all men, and it costs just $7.40. I also just like this picture in the product photo of this person who's covering their ears in pain, implying that you would deliberately be buying this train horn just to inconvenience others. Maybe that's how Chinese graphic designers view the American experience. Again, if you were to sound this horn, you would literally melt everything around you and probably the entire Earth. I don't even know what would happen at 100,000 dBs. Okay, this is technically considered to be gear more than an accessory, but it was too good to leave off the list. Also courtesy of Wish.com, we have these badass men's leather spike stud, punk rocker, driving, motorcycle, biker, fingerless gloves. You know, I am truly the biggest advocate for wearing all the proper gear when riding a motorcycle. Even if you've got the safety rated helmet, jackets, boots, and riding pants, you're not really road ready until you got 2-inch spikes erected on the back of your hands. I mean, look at these bad boys. You got Halloween costume grade leather on the palm, spikes on top, and a fingerless design. The only thing safer than a glove that would literally disintegrate into coming into contact with pavement is a glove you could also impale yourself with when you go down. You'd probably want to commit seppuku on the way out on that one. That's a great buy. And the last weird motorcycle accessory on our list today, another gem from Wish.com. Before I show you, close your eyes and let me read you some of the product copy from this listing. Listen to these words and see what product comes to mind. Soft and not hurt the shoes. Again, that is soft and not hurt the shoes. Can you guess? How about this one? Double-sided particles and stripes greatly improve the anti-skid performance. Anti-skid performance. And it's not what you're thinking. I'm not talking about underwear here. I'm talking about a shift lever cover. Have you ever been riding around and thought to yourself, my shift lever is too darn slippery, or my shift lever is leaving too many skid marks? Well, problem solved. Thanks for making it to the end of the video. How many of these products did you add to your shopping cart? Or even better question, how many of these products should we add to yammynoob.co? If you like this video, be sure to subscribe. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks again to Rockfirm for the support on today's video. This truly was a fun one. See you later. Fact: the time span between the use of copper swords and steel swords is longer than the time span between the use of steel swords and the nuclear bomb. Goodbye. Keep watching Yammy Noob.